yeah, I look clapped. So, hello guys, it's 899 here, and welcome to today's video, where today we're going to be going through the NRL tips and predictions for round 2. Pretty interesting week. We went up 5 and 8, but yeah, hopefully we get a bit more consistent with this round. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Starting off with this round as we go to Thursday, as we see the Newcastle Knights play their first home game of the season as they take on the Dolphins. Now, Knights are coming off a very scrappy is probably the polite term to call it, of a win against the West Tigers, and the Dolphins are coming off a forced relocation of their opening round match and several players dropping it and only just about losing to the Rabbitohs. Now, I think this will be a very interesting challenge for the Knights. I mean, one of the big things as well is it's Daniel Saifidi's first match back at Newcastle after he spent 9 years at the club. So, but in terms of overall, I think we definitely do need to step up if we want to get the job done over the Dolphins. So, I think this is going to be quite a close match, probably similarly, but hopefully a little bit better for the average viewer in comparison to last week. But I'm gonna actually back the boys here still and say I think that the Knights should be able to get the job done. But yeah, this will be a much more difficult opponent. Now we go into Friday, 6 p.m, and we have the New Zealand Warriors taking on the Manly Seagulls. Now the Warriors obviously had the week off, coming off of Vegas in round 1, where they lost quite badly to Canberra. Just didn't really show up, unfortunately, whilst the Manly Seagulls are coming off an absolute clinic at their home ground of Brookvale Oval, defeating the Cowboys by 30 points. Just really showing how good that their team looks like. It's actually pretty good to see, and DCE aging like fine wine as he starts to wind down his career. Mate, I'm clever. But basically, this obviously being in New Zealand, it's Warriors' first home game of the year, but I just think that the Warriors to win this game, I feel like all the players need to rock up, because they really did it in bits. Like Fisher Harris, I think, had a bit of a passive debut, unfortunately, but I mean, if this is the type of game that kickstart their season, then I can see them properly stepping up for this. However, I just think Manly will be too good, and I think that the Seagulls will win the match. Now we go into the Friday 8 p.m. kickoff, and we have the Penrith Panthers taking on the Sydney Roosters. Now, the Panthers, obviously, another team that came from Vegas and had a pretty close game against the Sharks and were just about able to get the job over the line. And the Roosters, yeah. Now, I don't want to say that the Roosters haven't got any chance, but it's just Victor Radley, as soon as he got taken off in the game against the Broncos, they just completely and utterly collapsed, and which is an unfortunate thing to see. But yeah, I think Penrith are going to be just unfortunately too good for the Roosters in this match. So yeah, I'm just going to say Penrith should be able to get their first technically home win of the season, because they're now playing at CommBank this year as the Timu McDonald Jones Stadium gets built. So yeah, now we go into the first of the Saturday triple header games, and we have got at 3 p.m. it is the Dragons taking on the Rabbitohs at Wollongong. The Dragons are coming off a pretty interesting clash against the Bulldogs. They did end up losing, but you have the Dragons did start scoring tries and making a comeback, but just they really weren't that much into it. The Rabbitohs, as we mentioned in the Dolphins game, coming off a bit of weird relocation due to the ex-Cyclone Alfred, and were able to get the job done and get the win. But this will be a really big test here for the Rabbitohs to see how they'll go this year, because I do think quite highly of the Dragons. I mean, obviously they're coming off the loss, but I just think they've got a decent thing of talent. Also, the first game of Damien Cook against the Bunnies for quite a while. So I'm actually going to go against the grain here, and I actually think South Sydney are going to win. I think it'll be a very close game, but yeah, I think possibly we could have a chance of the Bunnies going for the win, and I'm pretty much saying that because I've tried to find one match where I'm going to say the underdog will win, but it's quite hard. Now moving to Saturday at 5:30, where you have the North Queensland Cowboys taking on the Cronulla Sharks. The Cowboys lost 42-12 to Manly last weekend, and the Sharks only just lost to the Penrith Panthers over in Las Vegas. Looking into that Cowboys game, it's kind of like one of the worst opening matches that they've played. It's just they were completely outclassed off the field, and I feel like as well with the Sharks having the break and with the talent the Sharks have, I feel this is going to be very hard for the Cowboys to get the job done. However, it is in Queensland, which they probably could have a chance of still being in it. You never know, but I just think that the Sharks took it to Penrith, have had a week off. I think they're going to be fresh and ready, and I'm just going to say that I think the Sharks should be able to get their first win of the season. Now we go into the final game on Saturday at 7:35. You have the Canberra Raiders taking on the Brisbane Broncos. Canberra in Vegas were able to get a 30-8 win over the Warriors, whilst the Broncos just belted the absolute bollocks off the Roosters. So this is technically a top 4 clash. I think this definitely will be interesting to see how this Brisbane team now will go, and is this going to be the norm and essentially just really see themselves as being one of the main top teams, because I've seen people talking about how Michael Maguire's coaching players like Payne Haas, and it's going to be quite interesting to see if Canberra can stop that. I know they've announced a signing today. Pretty much it's basically confirmed that Jaden Brayley is going to go and join them from next year onwards, which I think is a good selection for a hooker. But yeah, I think this is going to be an interesting game, but I just think Broncos are going to be too good. And now we go into the Sunday games, where at 4:05 we have, formerly of the Spoon Bowl last year, it is the Parramatta Eels and the West Tigers. Now the Parramatta Eels got beaten by the Storm quite badly. Like, genuinely, they almost conceded 50 points in one half type bad. And it's also kind of been a bit bad because Dylan Brown has just accepted the biggest deal in rugby league history to go join the Knights next season. So, yeah, you're welcome. Then you got the West Tigers, who had a lot of momentum going into the round 1 game against the Knights, but just couldn't capitalise and get the job done, and it just led the Knights to just somehow roll over and grab the 2 points. But this will be a very interesting game. Obviously, I feel there's going to be a bit of feeling about it because of the Spoon Bowl last year, and also Jerome Luai now playing for the Tigers. But I think this will be a really good test for the Tigers to see, are they going to be in the chatter around getting a potential spoon again? But I'm going to say no, I actually think that the Tigers will win this game. And now we go to the final game of the second round, and we have the Canterbury Bulldogs taking on the Gold Coast Titans at Belmore. Obviously, the Bulldogs getting the job done in round 1 over one of their rivals in St George, and the Titans are coming off a round 1 bye, so this will be quite interesting to see how both teams go. Now, the Titans have had to relocate to Sydney quite early because of the ex-Cyclone Alfred, as their facilities have been absolutely flooded, so they actually just cannot train on the Gold Coast. But yeah, this is going to be a interesting game. It's going to be at Belmore, so this is going to be like a rabid Bulldogs fan base is going to be there. I know we had the incident about a Dragons fan throwing a couple of pies and a beer can at Bulldogs supporters, but if a Titans player tried to do that at Belmore, I don't think the bloke's making it out alive. Basically, it's going to be quite an interesting game, but I just think, I think the Bulldogs are going to be too hot this year, and I think they're going to get the job done at Belmore. And that's going to be the end of this predictions video. Who do you guys have this week? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you all later.